Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pink English.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to learn with you today.
I'm Sophia, and this is Daniel. Our goal is to make English easy and fun for you.
Exactly. If you enjoy our lessons, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really supports the channel.
Today, we are talking about your home.
We will practice listening, learn key words and phrases, and boost your confidence. Ready? Let's dive in.
It is so good to be here with you today, Daniel. I was thinking about this topic all morning because I recently moved to a new place. Moving house is such a huge life event, isn't it? It makes you realize how much your home is a part of your identity.
Oh, I totally agree, Sophia. I have lived in the same apartment for 5 years now, and it feels like a part of me. Every time I walk through the door, I feel this immediate sense of relief. But moving, that sounds stressful. I remember the last time I moved, I found things I didn't even know I owned. It is amazing how much stuff we collect.
That is the truth. They say that moving is one of the most stressful things you can do, right up there with starting a new job. But there's also something so exciting about a fresh start. You get to decide where everything goes and create a completely new environment. For me, home isn't just a building, it's a feeling of safety and comfort.
That is a beautiful way to put it. For some people, home might be a tiny apartment in the middle of a loud city, and for others, it might be a big house in the countryside. I think for our listeners, describing their home is one of the first things they need to master in English. It comes up in almost every conversation when you're getting to know someone.
You're right. People always ask, "Where do you live?" or "What is your place like?" It's a great way to start a conversation. I think we should explore not just the rooms, but the emotions behind them. When I think of my kitchen, I think of the smell of coffee in the morning. When I think of my bedroom, I think of peace.
I love that. My favorite spot is actually my balcony. It's small, but it's my little escape from the world. I have a few plants there, and even though I live in a busy area, it feels private. It's funny how we can turn a small piece of a building into our own personal sanctuary.
Exactly. And that is what we want to help our listeners do today. We want to give them the vocabulary to describe their sanctuary, whether it's a grand mansion or a cozy studio. There's so much more to a home than just walls and a roof.
I'm ready to get into the details. I think it's interesting how different cultures view homes, too. In some places, the living room is the heart of the home, while in others, everything happens around the dining table. I grew up in a house where the kitchen was always full of people.
Same here. My mother always said the kitchen was the engine of the house. Everything starts there. But before we get too nostalgic, maybe we should help our friends with some of the specific terms they can use to describe the different types of homes people live in.
That's a great idea. I think many people get confused between a house and an apartment, but there are so many other variations. For example, some people live in buildings that are attached to other buildings, while others have plenty of space all around them.
Let's start with a very common type of home in many countries. If you live in a house that stands alone and does not share any walls with another house, we call that a detached house. Let me spell that for you. Detached. Detached.
Detached. So a detached house is completely separate.
Exactly. It means you have your own space on all sides. For example, you could say, "My dream is to own a detached house with a large garden so my dog can run around freely." It implies privacy and usually more space.
That sounds like a lot of work to clean, Sophia. I prefer something a bit more compact. In the city, we often see houses that are joined together in a long row. We call those terraced houses. Terraced. Terraced.
Terraced. Terraced houses are very common in places like London or San Francisco. You share walls with your neighbors on both sides. An example would be many young professionals prefer living in a terraced house because they're often close to the city center.
That makes sense. But what if you only share one wall? I lived in a place like that once. We called it a semi-detached house. Semi-detached. Semi-detached. It's like two houses stuck together.
Yes, that is a very popular middle ground. Semi-detached. You have a neighbor on one side, but the other side is open. You might say, "Our semi-detached house has a small driveway where we park our car." It's a very common suburban style.
Now, we can't forget about apartments. In some places, people call them flats. Whether you call it an apartment or a flat, it's a home that is part of a larger building. If it's a very tall building, we might call it a high-rise. Higghrise, high-rise.
Higghrise. Living in a high-rise can give you amazing views. You could say, I live on the 20th floor of a high-rise, so I can see the whole city skyline at night. It sounds very modern and exciting.
It does, but I think I would get dizzy. Let's talk about the rooms inside these homes. Most people know the living room and the kitchen, but there are some specific areas that are great to know. For instance, when you first walk into a house or a fancy apartment building, you might find yourself in the foyer. Foyer. Foyer.
Foyer. A foyer is like an entrance hall or an entryway. It's the space where you take off your coat and shoes. You could say, please leave your umbrella in the foyer so you don't get the carpet wet. It's the first impression of a home.
I wish my apartment had a proper foyer. Right now, my front door opens straight into my living room. It's a bit crowded. Speaking of storage, I love a good pantry. Pantry.
Pantry. A pantry is a small room or a large cupboard near the kitchen where you store food like pasta, canned goods, and flour. It's every cook's dream. You might say, I need to go to the grocery store because my pantry is completely empty.
My pantry is mostly full of snacks, Sophia. I should probably put some real food in there. Now, what about the spaces at the very top or the very bottom of a house? Those are important too. The space right under the roof is called the attic. Attic.
Attic. Attics are often used for storage, but some people turn them into extra bedrooms or offices. You could say, we keep all our old photo albums and Christmas decorations up in the attic. It can be a bit dusty sometimes.
And the opposite of that is the basement. 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 This is the floor that is either partially or completely below ground level.
Basement. Many people use their basement as a laundry room or even a game room. For example, during the summer, it stays nice and cool in the basement, so we move the television down there.
That's a great point. Basements are perfect for staying cool. I also want to mention a term that is very common when looking at real estate or house listings. It's the word ensuite. Ensuite.
Ensuite. This is a French word that we use in English to describe a bathroom that is directly connected to a bedroom. It's very convenient. You could say, the master bedroom has a beautiful ensuite with a large bathtub. It means you don't have to walk down the hallway in your pajamas to go to the bathroom.
That is definitely a luxury. I think knowing these specific rooms helps you describe a home much more clearly. Instead of just saying it's a big house, you can say it's a detached house with a spacious foyer and an ensuite in every bedroom. It sounds much more professional.
It really does, and it helps you visualize the space. I think it's also important to talk about the outdoor areas. We mentioned gardens, but what about a patio? Patio.
Patio. A patio is a paved outdoor area usually used for dining or relaxing. It is different from a garden because it doesn't usually have grass. You might say, we spent the whole evening on the patio grilling burgers and enjoying the weather.
That sounds lovely. Another word people often hear is driveway. 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 This is the private path that leads from the street to your house or garage, where you can park your car.
Dryway. For example, you could say, please park your car in the driveway so you don't block the street. It is a very practical part of a home.
We have covered a lot of the physical structure of a home, Daniel, from the types of buildings to the specific rooms and even the outdoor spaces. It's a lot of vocabulary, but it's so useful.
It really is. I feel like I can describe almost any building now. But a home is more than just the structure, right? It's about how it feels inside, the furniture, the style, and the overall atmosphere.
You are absolutely right, Daniel. The structure is the skeleton, but the interior is the soul of the home. Let's talk about how we describe the feeling and the look of the inside of a house. When you walk into a place, what is the first thing you notice?
For me, it is the light. I love a place that is bright and open. But I know some people prefer a feeling that is very warm and comfortable, even if it is a bit small. We have a perfect word for that, don't we? Cozy. C-O-Z-Y. Cozy.
Cozy. That is one of my favorite words in the English language. It describes a place that is warm, comfortable, and makes you feel relaxed. You might say, even though her apartment is small, it feels so cozy with all the soft blankets and candles. It is a very positive word.
I agree. It makes you want to curl up with a book. On the other hand, if a place has a lot of room and you feel like you can move around freely, we call it spacious. S-P-A-C-I-O-U-S. Spacious.
Spacious. This comes from the word space. It describes a room or a house that is large and open. For example, the new kitchen is so spacious that 3 people can cook at the same time without bumping into each other.
That sounds like a dream kitchen. My kitchen is the opposite. It is quite cramped. C-R-A-M-P-E-D. Cramped.
Cramped. That means there is not enough space and it feels a bit uncomfortable. You could say, the hallway is a bit cramped, so it's hard to move furniture through it. It's usually a negative description, but it's very common in big cities.
Tell me about it. In my city, everyone lives in cramped apartments. But you can make a cramped space look better by choosing a specific style. Some people like a very clean look with very few items. We call this being a minimalist. M-I-N-I-M-A-L-I-S-T. Minimalist.
Minilast. A minimalist style focuses on simplicity and only having what you truly need. You might say he has a minimalist approach to decorating, so his living room only has a sofa, a lamp, and one painting. It feels very calm and organized.
I try to be minimalist, but I have too much clutter. C-L-U-T-T-E-R. Clutter.
Clut.
P-A-T-I-O. A patio is a paved outdoor area usually used for dining or relaxing. It is different from a garden because it doesn't usually have grass. You might say, we spent the whole evening on the patio grilling burgers and enjoying the weather.
That sounds lovely. Another word people often hear is driveway. D-R-Y-V-E-W-A-Y. Driveway. This is the private path that leads from the street to your house or garage, where you can park your car.
D-R-Y-W-A-Y. For example, you could say, please park your car in the driveway so you don't block the street. It is a very practical part of a home.
We have covered a lot of the physical structure of a home, Daniel, from the types of buildings to the specific rooms and even the outdoor spaces. It's a lot of vocabulary, but it's so useful.
It really is. I feel like I can describe almost any building now. But a home is more than just the structure, right? It's about how it feels inside, the furniture, the style, and the overall atmosphere.
You are absolutely right, Daniel. The structure is the skeleton, but the interior is the soul of the home. Let's talk about how we describe the feeling and the look of the inside of a house. When you walk into a place, what is the first thing you notice?
For me, it is the light. I love a place that is bright and open. But I know some people prefer a feeling that is very warm and comfortable, even if it is a bit small. We have a perfect word for that, don't we? Cozy. C-O-Z-Y. Cozy.
Cozy. That is one of my favorite words in the English language. It describes a place that is warm, comfortable, and makes you feel relaxed. You might say, even though her apartment is small, it feels so cozy with all the soft blankets and candles. It is a very positive word.
I agree. It makes you want to curl up with a book. On the other hand, if a place has a lot of room and you feel like you can move around freely, we call it spacious. S-P-A-C-I-O-U-S. Spacious.
Spacious. This comes from the word space. It describes a room or a house that is large and open. For example, the new kitchen is so spacious that 3 people can cook at the same time without bumping into each other.
That sounds like a dream kitchen. My kitchen is the opposite. It is quite cramped. C-R-A-M-P-E-D. Cramped.
Cramped. That means there is not enough space and it feels a bit uncomfortable. You could say the hallway is a bit cramped, so it's hard to move furniture through it. It's usually a negative description, but it's very common in big cities.
Tell me about it. In my city, everyone lives in cramped apartments. But you can make a cramped space look better by choosing a specific style. Some people like a very clean look with very few items. We call this being minimalist. M-I-N-I-M-A-L-I-S-T. Minimalist.
Minilast. A minimalist style focuses on simplicity and only having what you truly need. You might say he has a minimalist approach to decorating, so his living room only has a sofa, a lamp, and one painting. It feels very calm and organized.
I try to be minimalist, but I have too much clutter. C-L-U-T-T-E-R. Clutter.
Clutter. Clutter refers to a lot of objects that are not organized and take up too much space. It often makes a home feel messy. You could say, I need to spend the weekend clearing out the clutter in my office so I can actually find my desk.
We all have that one drawer or one room full of clutter, don't we? It's part of living in a home. But let's talk about the layout of a home. A very popular trend lately is the open concept design. O-P-E-N-C-O-N-C-E-P-T. Open concept.
Openconcept. This describes a floor plan where there are very few walls separating the main rooms, like the kitchen, dining room, and living room. It makes the whole area feel like one big space. For example, an open concept living area is great for hosting parties because you can talk to your guests while you're preparing food in the kitchen.
I love that idea because it makes everything feel more social. But it can be noisy. If someone is watching TV and someone else is using the blender, everyone hears it. That's why some people prefer a more traditional layout with separate rooms.
That's a good point. It's all about personal preference. Now, when we talk about the things inside the house that are fixed and cannot be easily moved, like the lights, the sinks, or the bathtub, we call them fixtures. F-I-X-T-U-R-E-S. Fixtures.
F-I-X-T-U-R-E-S. These are part of the house itself. You might say, the house is old, but it has beautiful modern fixtures in the bathroom. It's different from furniture, which you take with you when you move.
Exactly. Furniture includes things like your bed, your dining table, and your sofa. Speaking of furniture, there are some interesting pieces that have specific names. Do you have an ottoman in your house, Daniel? O-T-T-O-M-A-N? Ottoman.
O-T-T-O-M-A-N. Yes, I use it as a footrest, but sometimes it doubles as a coffee table if I put a tray on it. It's a very versatile piece of furniture. You could say, she sat on the armchair and rested her feet on the velvet ottoman.
Very fancy. And where do you keep your clothes? Most people use a wardrobe. What? W-A-R-D-R-O-B-E. Wardrobe.
W-A-R-D-R-O-B-E. In some places, people call it a closet, but a wardrobe is often a large piece of furniture rather than a space built into the wall. You might say, I bought a new wardrobe because I didn't have enough space for all my winter coats.
It's always about finding more storage, isn't it? If a home doesn't have enough storage, people often decide to renovate. R-E-N-O-V-A-T-E. Renovate.
R-E-N-O-V-A-T-E. To renovate means to repair or improve a building, especially an old one. It's a big project. For example, they decided to renovate their kitchen to add more counter space and new appliances.
Renovating can be a long process, but the results are usually worth it. It's how you take a house and truly make it your own. You change the colors, the materials, and the layout to fit your lifestyle.
I think that is the most exciting part. Even if you don't own the place, you can decorate it. Decorate. D-E-C-O-R.
I agree. We've gone from the big picture of the building type down to the tiny details of the furniture and the vibe. This is exactly what you need to have a deep conversation about where you live.
It's been a great journey through the home so far, But I think it would be even more helpful to see how these words work in a real-life situation.
You are reading my mind, Daniel. I think it's time we put all these words into practice. Why don't we imagine a scenario where I am showing you around my new place? I just finished moving in, and you are coming over for a housewarming visit.
I would love that. It's the perfect way to use these words in a natural way. So, I'm arriving at your front door now?
Exactly. Let's start. Oh, Daniel, welcome, welcome. Please come on in. I am so happy you could make it to see the new place.
Thanks for having me, Sophia. Wow, even from the outside, I can tell this is a beautiful spot. Is this a semi-detached house?
It is. We share the wall on the left with a very quiet elderly couple, but the right side is open, which lets in so much natural light. Here, let me take your coat. Just hang it here in the foyer.
This foyer is actually quite spacious. I love the tile work on the floor. It feels very welcoming right from the start.
Thank you. We wanted the entrance to feel open. Follow me this way into the heart of the home. This is our open concept living and dining area.
Oh, wow, you weren't kidding about the light. Look at those windows. This whole space feels so airy. I see you've gone for a bit of a minimalist style here.
We are trying. We really wanted to avoid the clutter we had in our old apartment. We decided to keep only the pieces of furniture that we truly love, like this velvet sofa, for example.
It looks incredibly comfortable. And is that an ottoman in the corner?
Yes, it is. It actually opens up so we can store blankets inside. It's a great way to keep things tidy while still having everything we need for a movie night.
That is so clever. Form and function. Now, I have to see the kitchen. I know how much you love to cook.
Step right this way. It's just past the dining area. We actually decided to renovate the kitchen before we moved in because the old fixtures were from the 1970s.
What a change! These new marble countertops are stunning. And look at all this storage. Wait, is that a hidden door?
Good eye. That is the entrance to the pantry. It's Pantry. We have all our dry goods and the coffee station tucked away in there so the counters stay clear.
I am officially jealous. My kitchen is so cramped compared to this. I can barely fit a toaster on my counter, let alone have a whole walk-in pantry.
It was definitely a priority for us. Come see the rest of the ground floor. We have a small guest bathroom here, and then through these French doors is the patio.
Oh, the patio looks perfect for a summer barbecue. I love how it leads right out into the garden. It's so peaceful out here.
It's our favorite place to have breakfast. Now, let's head upstairs. I want to show you the master bedroom.
Lead the way. I noticed the staircase has a very modern feel to it as well.
We replaced the old wooden railing with glass to keep that open feeling. Here we are. This is the main bedroom. We wanted it to be the ultimate cozy retreat.
You've definitely achieved that. The soft lighting and the neutral colors make it feel like a hotel suite. And wait, is that an ensuite bathroom?
It is. Ensuite. Having a private bathroom attached to the bedroom was one of our must-haves when we were looking for a new home.
I can see why. It makes the morning routine so much easier. What's that door over there in the ceiling?
That leads up to the attic. It's mostly for storage right now, but eventually we want to convert it into a home office. For now, it's just where we keep the suitcases and holiday gear.
This place is incredible, Sophia. You've done a wonderful job making it feel like a home. It's not just a house, it's clearly you.
That is the best compliment I could receive. Thank you, Daniel. Now, how about some tea on that patio?
I thought you'd never ask.
Okay, let's step out of that scenario for a moment. Daniel, did you notice a few of the phrases we used there?
Even though we were using the vocabulary we learned earlier, we also used some more advanced expressions.
I did. One that stood out to me was when I said your furniture was a mix of form and function. That's a great phrase for interior design, isn't it?
It really is. When we say something has form and function, we mean it is both beautiful to look at and very useful. Form and function. For example, a designer chair that looks like art but is also the most comfortable seat in the house has great form and function.
Another one I used was must-haves. I said the ensuite was one of your must-haves. Mustshaves. Must-haves.
Exactly. A must-have is something that is essential or necessary. When people are looking for a new home, they usually have a list of must-haves, like a garage, a backyard, or a certain number of bedrooms. You could say a big kitchen was a must-have for my family.
And you mentioned that the kitchen was the heart of the home. That's such a common idiom in English. HEARTFOTHEHOME. Heart of the home.
It really is. It refers to the place where everyone gathers and where the most activity happens. Usually it's the kitchen or the living room. It's where the life of the house is.
I love those expressions. They add so much color to the way we speak. But Sophia, while your housewarming was very positive, sometimes talking about homes can be a bit more serious or professional.
You're right, like when you're dealing with a landlord or a real estate agent, the tone changes completely.
Exactly. I was thinking maybe we could do a second scenario that's a bit different. Maybe a situation where someone is looking to rent a place and has to ask very specific questions.
That's a brilliant idea. It's a very common situation for people moving to an English-speaking country. Why don't you be the prospective tenant and I'll be the property manager showing you a rental apartment?
Sounds good. Let's change the vibe. This will be more formal and focused on the details of the lease and the condition of the property.
Perfect. Let's begin. Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. Thank you for meeting me today. I'm Sophia, the building manager for the Heights.
Good afternoon, Sophia. Thank you for taking the time. I've been looking for a one-bedroom apartment in this area for a while, and this building came highly recommended.
We take great pride in our property. This unit just became available yesterday. As you can see, it is a high-rise apartment on the 15th floor.
The view is certainly impressive. I can see the park from here. Now, is the apartment offered furnished or unfurnished? This particular unit is unfurnished, although it does include all major appliances. The stove, refrigerator, and dishwasher are all brand new fixtures that were installed last month.
That's good to know. I have my own furniture, so unfurnished is actually what I am looking for. Is the building pet-friendly? I have a small dog.
Yes, we are pet-friendly, though there is a small additional deposit for pets. Also, we ask that residents keep their pets on a leash in the common areas, like the foyer and the elevators.
That's perfectly reasonable. What about the utilities? Are they included in the monthly rent?
Water and trash collection are included. However, electricity and internet are the responsibility of the tenant. The apartment is already wired for high-speed fiber optic internet.
Great. I work from home, so a reliable connection is a must-have for me. I noticed there is a balcony. Is there any restriction on what can be kept out there?
We ask that tenants do not use the balcony for general storage, to keep the building looking neat from the outside. However, patio furniture and potted plants are more than welcome.
Understood. Now, about the layout. It feels quite spacious for a one-bedroom, but I'm concerned about storage. Does the unit come with any extra space, like a basement locker?
Yes, every tenant has access to a secure storage cage in the basement. It's perfect for bicycles or seasonal items that might otherwise cause clutter in your living space.
That's a huge plus. And what is the policy on making changes to the unit? For example, if I wanted to paint a wall or hang heavy shelving.
We generally ask that you do not make permanent changes. If you wish to paint, you would need written permission and would likely need to paint it back to the original color before moving out. As for shelving, we prefer that you use small nails to minimize damage to the walls.
That makes sense. Finally, what is the situation with parking? Does the apartment come with a designated spot in the driveway or a garage?
This building has an underground garage. Each unit is assigned one parking space. There's also a small outdoor area for guest parking near the entrance.
Everything sounds very professional. What are the next steps if I want to move forward with the application?
You would just need to fill out the application form and provide references from your previous landlord. Once we clear the background check, we can sign the lease.
Excellent. Thank you for the tour, Sophia. I'll review the documents and get back to you by tomorrow.
I look forward to hearing from you, Mr. Miller. Have a great day.
And we are back. That was much more formal, wasn't it? I felt like I had to be on my best behavior.
You did a great job, Daniel. That is exactly how those conversations usually go. It's all about the facts and the rules. Did you notice the word utilities there? That is a very important one for anyone living in a home.
Definitely. Utilities. U-T-I-L-I-T-I-E-S.
UTILITIES. This refers to basic services like electricity, water, gas, and sometimes internet or trash collection. When you are looking for a place, you always need to ask if the utilities are included in the rent or if you have to pay for them separately.
It's a big part of the monthly budget. Another phrase we used was security deposit, SECURITYDEPOSIT, security deposit.
That is a very common term in renting. It's an amount of money you pay at the start of a lease. The landlord keeps it in case there's damage to the property. If you leave the place in good condition, you get the money back at the end.
I also liked the way we talked about common areas, COMMONAREAS.
COMMONARES. These are the parts of a building or a complex that are shared by all the residents, like the hallways, the lobby or foyer, the elevators, and the gym or pool if the building has them.
It's important to know the rules for those areas so you can stay on good terms with your neighbors. We also mentioned references, REFERENCES.
REFERENCES. In the context of renting, a reference is a person who can confirm that you are a good tenant. Usually it's a previous landlord who can say that you paid your rent on time and took good care of the property.
It's like a job interview, but for your home. I think these two scenarios show how the same topic, the home, can be discussed in totally different ways depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly. You use the same basic words like kitchen, balcony, or apartment, but the surrounding language changes. In a casual setting, you talk about the vibe and how cozy it is. In a professional setting, you talk about units and leases and utilities.
It's all about context. And I think that's one of the hardest things for learners to master, the tone. But practicing these role plays helps so much with that.
I agree. It gives you a roadmap for the conversation. You know what questions to expect and what information you need to provide. I feel like we've really covered a lot of ground here, Sophia. We've looked at types of houses, specific rooms, interior design, and even the logistics of renting.
We certainly have. But there is one more thing that is very important when talking about homes, especially in a social way.
What's that?
It's the cultural side of things. How do we talk about our homes with friends? What are the social rules when you visit someone else's home? It's not just about the words, it's about the etiquette.
Oh, that is a great point. For example, in some cultures, you always take your shoes off at the door, but in others, it's not expected.
Exactly. And how do you politely decline an invitation? Or how do you give a compliment that doesn't sound fake? These are the social grease that makes everything run smoothly.
I'm really looking forward to discussing that. It feels like the final piece of the puzzle. But first, maybe we should take a little breather. We've shared a lot of words today.
Good idea, Danielle. Why don't we move on to talk about those social expectations? I think our listeners will find it very useful for their next dinner party or visit to a friend's place.
I agree, Daniel. Good idea. Why don't we move on to talk about those social expectations? I think our listeners will find it very useful for their next dinner party or visit to a friend's place.
It is funny you mentioned dinner parties, Sophia, because that is where I usually feel the most nervous about cultural rules. When you visit someone's home, there are so many unspoken expectations.
You are right, and these expectations can vary wildly depending on which English-speaking country you are in. However, one very common rule across the board is the idea of bringing a small gift. We often call this a hostess gift, but it is for anyone hosting the event. HOSTESS, hostess.
I always try to bring something small, like a bottle of wine or some nice chocolates. It feels polite. But what about the shoes? That is always the big question when you stand at the foyer. Do I keep them on or do I take them off?
That is a classic dilemma. In many modern homes, especially in Canada or parts of the United States and the United Kingdom, it is polite to ask, "Would you like me to take my shoes off?" Some hosts are very relaxed, while others have expensive rugs and prefer a shoes-off policy. It is always better to ask than to leave a muddy footprint on a white carpet.
Good point. And what about when you're actually inside? I often feel like I should compliment the house, but I don't want to sound like I am being nosy or inspecting the place.
Complimenting someone's home is a standard part of social interaction. It is seen as very friendly. You don't need to be an architect to do it. A simple, "Oh, you have such a lovely home," or "I love the way you've decorated this room," goes a long way. It makes the host feel that their effort in making a home has been noticed.
That is easy enough. But what if they offer me a tour? Is it okay to look into every room, or is that overstepping? Overstepping.
Overstepping. That means going beyond what is considered acceptable or polite. Usually, if a host says, "Let me show you around," they will show you the main areas. It is generally polite to follow them and not start opening closed doors on your own, especially bedroom doors or the pantry, unless they lead the way.
Note taken. No secret pantry inspections for me. Now, Sophia, what about when it's time to leave? Sometimes I find it hard to say goodbye without it feeling abrupt.
That is where the phrase "making a move" comes in. You might say, "Well, it's getting late. I should probably make a move." It's a soft way of saying you need to go. Or you can use an excuse, like, "I have an early start tomorrow." It's a very common social white lie that everyone understands.
I use that one all the time. "I have an early start tomorrow" is my favorite way to leave a party at 9 p.m. so I can go home and be cozy on my own sofa.
We are all guilty of that, Daniel. Another important cultural aspect is how we talk about our homes in small talk. People often ask, "How is the new place?" Or, "Have you settled in yet?" Settledin, settled in.
Settledin. That means becoming comfortable and organized in a new home. You could say, "It took us a few weeks, but we are finally settled in." It implies that the boxes are unpacked and it finally feels like home.
Exactly. And if someone tells you they are renovating, a great follow-up question is, how is the progress coming along? People love to talk about their home improvement projects, even if they're complaining about how much dust there is.
Oh, definitely. Home talk is like weather talk. It's a safe and engaging topic for almost anyone. Whether you're talking about a garden, a new piece of furniture, or a difficult landlord, everyone has a story to share about where they live.
It really is a universal topic. It connects us because our home is such a private, personal part of our lives. Sharing it with others is a sign of friendship and trust.
I feel much more confident about visiting someone now. I know how to ask about the shoes, how to give a nice compliment, and how to leave gracefully when I'm tired.
That's the goal. Knowing the language is one thing, but knowing the social rhythm is what really makes you sound like a natural speaker.
Well, Sophia, I hate to be the one to say it, but I think we're reaching the end of our lesson today. Time really flies when you're having fun.
It certainly does. We have covered a massive amount of information today. I think it's time for our vocabulary masterclass to help everyone remember the most important gems from this episode.
I'm ready. I'll start. Number one is detached. Detached. This describes a house that stands alone and does not share walls with any other building.
Number 2 is foyer. Foyer. This is the entrance hall or entryway of a home where you usually greet guests and take off your coat.
Number three is ensuite. Ensuite. This is a private bathroom that is directly connected to a bedroom.
Number 4 is cozy. Cozy. A wonderful word to describe a home that feels warm, comfortable, and inviting.
Number five is minimalist. Minilist. A style of decorating that is very simple, clean, and free of unnecessary items.
Number 6 is renovate. Renovate. To improve or repair a building, like updating an old kitchen or bathroom.
Number seven is utilities. Utilities. The basic services you pay for in a home, like water, electricity, and heating.
Number 8 is pantry. Pantry. A small room or cupboard used specifically for storing food items.
Number nine is spacious. Spacious. Used to describe a room or home that has a lot of space and feels very open.
And number 10 is clutter. Clutter. Those messy, unorganized piles of things that we all need to clear out every once in a while.
What a great list. If our listeners can master those 10 words, they'll be on their way to describing any home in the world.
Absolutely. And now for our favorite part of the show, the question of the day. Daniel, what should we ask our listeners?
I would love to know, what is your favorite room in your home and why? Is it your cozy bedroom, your spacious kitchen, or maybe a sunny balcony?
That's a great question. Please leave your answers in the comments below. We love reading your stories, and it's a fantastic way for you to practice your English writing.
It really is. We try to read as many as we can. Thank you all so much for spending this time with us today at Pink English.
We hope you feel more confident and inspired to talk about your home. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and keep having fun with your English.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.